One of the biggest features added to the new worldbox update that I haven't really seen anyone talk about yet is the addition of a use for the monolith. The monolith has been in the game for, I believe, over 3 years now and has always served no purpose. Even when you still look at the description of it today, there's just question marks. But with the new update, you can go into the world laws and actually see that the monolith will evolve and mutate nearby creatures, which I think is really cool as it adds a lot of spice to your world. And if you can read, you probably know what I'm doing in this video since you read the title and clicked on the video. We're going to be just spawning in a bunch of humans, and then after 1,000 years, we're going to check in on them and see how they're doing. Also guys, I made a Discord, links in the description, go check it out. Obviously, we are going to be taking a couple of quick stop-ins before we get to year 1,000, but for the most part, we're just gonna let time determine what happens. So, as you can see, world population is obviously 0. We are going to spawn in 1,000 humans across the map and let them develop for a few years before we spawn in the monoliths. So they're gonna go everywhere. They're gonna go into this infernal biome down here, plains, the rock biomes up here, definitely down here in the birch. They're going all over. Alright, that's actually a little over 1,000, and geez, all the villages just pop up at once. I don't even know, I don't think they can even live down here, I'm not gonna lie. Before we actually place in the monoliths, I'm just gonna here's a random dude named Blurton, that's a cool name. I'm just gonna favorite him and we're gonna see if he's alive. And as for world laws, we're going to keep most normal things on, obviously random events diplomacy. I'm actually going to turn off creatures are gonna die from old age, because I want to see in 1,000 years if there's anyone still alive from the start. I doubt it, but there is a chance. But without anything else, no more yapping, we're going to spawn in our monoliths. So there's a lot of spots we can pick, and I say we spawn in 20. I don't know if that's a lot. I haven't really messed with the monolith, so maybe that's too much, maybe it's not. So we'll spawn one right here by this little kingdom that people made. We'll go right here, 20. So we have our village set. Everything is ready to go. Our world population is right at 1,000. And my first check-in with you guys will be at year 100. So I'll see you then.
2 hours later.
And we are now approaching year 100. There we go. And we are at our first little step in. So in terms of world population, which I see immediately, it has quintupled in size, going up 5,000. On the other hand, 5,000 people have also died, which I guess makes some sense. As we can see by the map, power has been consolidated by about these, 4 kingdoms mainly, and there's still a few independent kingdoms here and there. This kingdom of Arislan looks the most powerful from what I can see, but this is pretty cool how they've all just developed power. If you were wondering what happened to our guy, he's dead. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not paying attention to what happens either, I'm just checking in. So he must have probably died in a car crash or something. I don't know how people die in this game. So we're going to move on to subspecies now. As you can see here, it looks for the most part that it's just Homo sapiens, which makes sense. But if you can see here, there are still a few interesting developments. If you look down here, Ratus sapiens have become a subspecies, which are rats, but intelligent. And as you can see here, this dude's just a sentient rat, just living his life. He can't really do much at all, but he's just chilling. And if we look around, there's another rat species here. For the most part, it seems like humans are still the only ones who remain. Many religions have popped up. This is shocking. Usually there's only a few in my worlds, but this is a lot. It looks like the biggest one is this one called Hi Dat. But while there's been some cool developments, looks like the humans have evolved a bit, I think that we're gonna need some more monoliths. But before we do that, let's check in on some of the most interesting people. So the oldest human is 129 years old dude named Vixio. Looking at another subspecies, this guy named Bronustan actually has 9 kills. And he has an epic evil staff too. I have no clue how he got that. Oh, he killed a mage. So a mage must have spawned and he killed it and he's used it for cool. I'm gonna favorite this guy. And now this guy is going to be our next chosen one. And we're going to see if he can survive to the next goal. So I think that's pretty interesting stats, but like I said, we're going to double the monoliths here. I'm going to spawn 20 more, and once again, I'm just going to place them all over. So before I speed up time again, I'm going to name these kingdoms real quick. I'm going to name this one Happy Emotion. If you know, you know. I'm going to name this one Liam. This one, threshold. I'm literally just thinking of any words. And this one, Minecraft. I don't know, dude. So the only reason I'm naming these kingdoms is because I'm giving them real names to see if they exist at our next goal, which will be year 250. So I will see you guys then.
3 days later.
Alright, here we are now at year 250. And once again, all the civilizations I see do appear to be completely human, so that stays the same. As we can immediately see, the Kingdom of Happy Emotion still exists. It looks like all the other ones have pretty much been destroyed, I'm assuming by Happy Emotion. And the only remaining ones are little small kingdoms that I assume are just rebellions from Happy Emotion, as it seems right now that Happy Emotion is fighting off many rebellions from a lot of different countries at the moment. There's this other kingdom here named Greenloft, and shout out to this kingdom down here, Pomeros, which is that kingdom that managed to somehow live down here in the Inferno biome, and they're day 1 too, they just haven't been able to expand it all. So once again, looking at the little subspecies things, it kind of looks the same. Monoliths have not really done that much. There's still a few floating around individual rat species here and there, but they're not all that special and they haven't really been able to do anything yet. In terms of our new special dude, once again, he's gone. I don't know what happened to him. He got eviscerated by the sun or something. So I figured now it's time to just check in on how all of our people are doing. The oldest person is this man named Milesalor, who is 276 years old. The king of Happy Emotion is still alive. Looks like he's a day 1 at 242 years old. And despite all the events going on in his kingdom, he has still remained strong. It appears that the best soldier that we see here is this guy named Delel, who is wielding an ice hammer. No clue how he got that. And is 267 years old. He's a miracle born. He's one of the original people that we placed down. So we're going to favorite him, and he's going to be the next guy. But I'm also going to favorite the ice hammer, because if he perishes, I want to see where the hammer ends up. So we'll do that too. I really want to see if we can spice up the world some more. So at least for now, we're going to spawn even more monoliths. I'm not even going to count this time. I'm just going to spam them around. But I also need to give some land for creatures to expand. So I know my world design is terrible, but I'm just going to make some random islands out here. And I know this looks all terrible. I'm assuming that humans are probably just going to usurp all this new land here, but hopefully maybe some animals will get in there and we can see some special stuff. Of course, like usual, we'll drop some monoliths down here too. And we'll place a few more around. It's actually really interesting to look at the population pyramid of some of these subspecies, as it's clear that a few humans have been able to survive and get up into that 200 plus age range. As we scroll down, as you would expect, more and more people at each age level until the youngest level is where we see most of our people. Interestingly, if we look at another human subspecies, the one over here on the left of the Homo sapienses, which is home to mostly the Greenloft Kingdom, who has been mostly peaceful. They don't really get involved in war that much, but they are fighting a small war right now. As you can see, because they don't get involved in war that much, their population pyramid is much more evened out between all of the different ages. And their most populous generation actually appears to be people between 40 and 50 instead of the really young, which is interesting to me. But alas, nothing really has changed except for some of the interesting map changes. Hopefully we'll start seeing some animals pop up and all that. But until then, I will see you guys at the next milestone, which is going to be year 500. And after that, we're going to move on to year 1000. So let's do it.
3 weeks later.
Alright, we are now officially at year 500. And once again, honestly, the map looks about the same. It looks like these islands I set up down here were in fact inhabited by humans, which is unfortunate, but is honestly what I expected, so I'm not really that surprised. But on the other hand, our two kingdoms of Happy Emotion and Greenloft are still the two main powerhouses, with this little kingdom of Erode still being here. As we can see by this hammer icon, our hammer wielder did somehow die, not sure how, but the hammer was passed down to somebody. This lady named Geofidel has the hammer. Now, I'm not sure if she's the one who killed our other guy. I actually probably doubt it. She probably just got it from someone else. But still, this is pretty cool. So I guess we're going to start tracking her now. We're going to favorite her and we're going to name her Univi. Now, in terms of religions, which I haven't checked on in forever, look at this. a single religion has essentially universalized the whole world. Named Oogies, it has essentially almost 5,000 members and only 3 powers in it too, which is cool. And if we remember, look at this, the religion of Hi still exists, but is down from several hundred, I believe, to just 15 people, which is insane how it fell off so much. Looking at the subspecies, it's pretty much the same. We have her 2 or 3 main subspecies of humans, and then occasionally there's some sentient rats. That's how it's going. So the monoliths, once again, haven't really done much. Look, there's been so many different rat species. Look how much different words that the game had to automatically add on just to create a new one. But still, even if the monoliths are doing much, I think it's still cool to see what's happening to this kingdom. So we're going to look at the interesting people. The oldest people in the Happy Emotion Kingdom are these 2 guys named Ventus and Eloa, and they're both 517 years old, which, as we can see by their traits, is how old the Miracle Born people are. I believe this is the oldest possible age they could be. In the most kills department, guy is this girl named Edifa, who has 10 kills. And once again, the king of Happy Emotion, Sonoyan, is still alive. He has been ruling over this kingdom for so long without any consequence. All of his kids have died a long time ago. I believe even his original wife died, so now he's dating a 165-year-old, which doesn't sound that bad until you realize that the age gap between them is pretty much 330 years. Let's be honest here, year 1000, nothing is really gonna change. That's just how it's gonna go. I think the monolith has a chance to do some good things, but at the moment, not much is going on. So, obviously, we're gonna spawn in some more monoliths first, but now we are going to go into one of these cities and pick a completely random person, and we're gonna do something to them that might spice things up. So I'm going to go into, we'll go right here, and I'm going to pick someone who's not a soldier, this young lady named Venana. We are going to infect her with the mush virus. Now, if you've played worldbox before, you know what the mush is. We all know what the mush is. But if you do know the mush, it doesn't activate until this person dies, which I suspect will probably happen sometime in the next 500 years. But right now, they're not even part of the military, meaning that hopefully they got a long way to go.
1 eternity later.
And here we are at year 1000, and a lot has changed. Who knew it would happen? But that one singular person that I infected at year 500 would spread and would eventually lead to the downfall of all of human civilization. Look at this. There are a ton of different species now. We have penguins up here in the north. We have a lot of wolves here in the, I guess, the central east. We have an absolutely massive bear kingdom right here. A rabbit kingdom right here in the right, and we have a cat kingdom right here. I believe this is a rat kingdom up here. We have a couple crab kingdoms over here. We have an actual sentient crab kingdom here with like humanoid crabs. And yes, we actually still have a few humans. Also, what are these right here? I didn't even see these guys. They appear to be crocodiles, I think, or actually it's a mix. Look, this guy's a rat, and this guy is, I'm not even sure, a rana? I'm not quite sure what these guys are. But the humans in this little island right here were able to survive. The mush spread all across the world, and if you look at the infected here, the mush are still actually a very big threat to everyone. There's a bunch of mush here on this island. Look at them all. Jeez. But as you can see, I think all they needed was room. As soon as the landscape opened up, more mobs were able to spawn, more animals were able to spawn, and the monoliths did their work quick. I'm actually pretty glad this happened because I didn't want this video to just be an evolution of kingdoms over 1,000 years, because it wouldn't be boring, but that's been overdone. So I'm glad that we actually get to see the monoliths in action. We can check some things here. As you would expect, subspecies, there's a ton of them now. There's a bunch of different penguins. All of it just happened naturally thanks to the monoliths. Families, there's a bunch. Also, for some reason, this is one thing I've noticed with the bears. They only have like 3 different names. They have Ona and Anna. And that's like literally it. I don't know why. Look at the village names for the bears. It's just Ona, Ina, and Anna. There's like 20 of them that are just named all of this. Also, look at this. I thought whenever interspecies existed, they would kill each other. But look, there's actually, what, llama people here? I'm not quite sure what they are, but that's cool. Oh, and also there's more crabs over here too. I didn't even notice this. And what are these guys? Are these monkeys? I think these are monkeys. Not quite sure where they are. That's cool. I actually shocked at how much stuff happened here. So let's look at some stats. So it looks like these bears are just normal bears. I'm not sure if it's a humanoid form of the bears or not, but these guys look pretty just normal. So the oldest one is only 152 years old, which means that's probably how long ago that happened. And the most kills is Onya with 17 kills. Wow, that's impressive. And on the humans, the oldest is only 121, meaning that they've still had to struggle with a lot. Most kills is only 4. I'm looking at the age of a lot of these kingdoms, and it seems like whatever happened in like the past 150 years or so. So I remember I was not here for any of this timeline, but my guess is the mush, because it started with only one person, took about 200 years to completely spread, and after about 300 years it had pretty much killed most of the humans, leaving, well, just these guys left in their other village down here. And after that, I believe the mush probably just started naturally dying off as more animals spawned and they took them out one or two at a time, and the mush had no more room to grow, meaning that once new animals started spawning in groups, they quickly became sentient through the monolith, and then they began making their kingdoms. And that's going to be the end of the video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, subscribe and let me know what kind of videos you want to see, because it takes me a while to record and edit and all that. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.